Okay, we're live now. So number one, which of the following is the major prediction of the Rothschild-Stiglitz model? And there's a positive correlation between risk and insurance coverage, right?
Yep.
Okay. Number two, which of the following is a major prediction of the Akerlof's model? And I said the adverse selection death spiral.
That's what I think it is too.
Okay.
Yeah.
In a market with asymmetric information, the Rothschild-Stiglitz model predicts
Bulk markups.
Markups, yeah. I agree.
Yep.
Which of the following would eliminate moral hazard from an insurance market? This one I got wrong, and it's because I always mix the two up. So inelastic and inelastic, I mean.
So go ahead.
Price elasticity of demand for healthcare is perfectly inelastic, right?
Yeah, that's what I thought it was too.
That's what I got.
See, that's what I thought I put. Let me check it really quick. Wait, maybe I put elastic.
Do my headphones quit working?
Yeah, I put elastic. Okay.
Headphones.
All right, I agree with that then, and I understand. 5, which of the following is an example of moral hazard? An uninsured patient who incessantly visits his doctor because he always thinks he's getting sick. An uninsured patient who doubles the dosage of his drugs prescribed by his doctor. An uninsured patient regularly forgets his follow-up appointments with the doctor. An uninsured patient who insists on name brand prescription drugs because he has coverage. It's that one, right?
Yes.
I think so.
Yeah, the one
I'm pretty
name brand.
sure.
Yeah.
Okay, so just to double check, my headphones are being weird. So in the last one, did we do it's perfectly inelastic?
Yeah.
Okay.
Are you listening to Melinda? Which one of the following is an example of moral hazard? A previously uninsured woman gets diagnosed with multiple sclerosis, a rare neurological disorder, after enrolling in health insurance. An insured motorcyclist dies after being struck by a drunk driver. Your neighbor who waits until after their home insurance coverage begins before buying a trampoline, or a smoker who has to pay higher premiums because of her habit. And
So I got this one wrong.
It's the trampoline one, but I thought that it would have been, like when I was going through this, I thought it was the multiple sclerosis patient.
That's what I thought. That's what I picked, and so I got it wrong too. Because I was going. I really thought it was a trampoline one too, but I don't know. I just kept second guessing myself, and I shouldn't have. Obviously.
Yeah. Well, I think it's because since it's a neurological disorder, it can't be controlled. I barely read this, so it's kind of like fresh in my head. But the trampoline one, they intentionally waited, so it was, that's an example of, or that's moral hazard.
Okay, that makes sense.
Sorry. Okay. Each book moves a discussion on 1 or 2 pages in the textbook. Oh, man.
So this one doesn't give us pages like she has been doing?
No. So we have to come up with our own. For me, do you guys understand pooling from chapter 10? I don't really understand that. So it would be page Page 187.
Page 187?
Yeah, 187. So it's about the adverse selection death spiral. And it's just that one section on pooling. I don't get it. Pooling between different risk types. I was going to ask her in the review session today, and then I realized that this information is not going to be on the test, so I'll just wait. But if you guys know anything,
okay,
kind of clarify for me, that would be great.
Different risk types.
Like, I don't understand the subsidy, and then it just, I mean, it looks like they're just like grouping different, it says pooling different risk types.
Yeah.
So, okay.
So I read the like the Harvard University death spiral. That makes sense to me. I get that. So I'm just wondering if this is similar.
I'm just reading it, trying to. Does it have, I don't know if this would be anything close. Does it have to be because regardless of what your risk is, you have to have the same insurance, and so it causes, I don't know. I'm trying to think myself through it too.
That's what I'm trying to think through. It's like
the Harvard example made sense to me, right? Because it's like there's, you know, they had their insurance, and then the what happened? Some kind of like budget cuts. So budget cuts made the insurance go up, and then so some people dropped the insurance, and then the sick people kept it because they couldn't afford like not to have insurance because of their health. And then it happened again the next year. So more people dropped it, but the really sick ones kept it. And then it happened again. And eventually Harvard like dropped the plan. So maybe that's it. But I don't, it says like in the description in that box that's on page 187 that says 3 predictions of the asymmetric information models. The number 3 says absent an inducement that keeps low risk types in the pool. So I don't understand that.
Right, because if you read above it, it says something about like in nearly all of the cases, there's some sort of inducement, such as a legal mandate or a subsidy that keeps low risk types from dropping out of the pool.
Yeah, so
I think what it's kind of saying is like in the model, like there isn't a certain level that you have to keep insurance at. Like you can kind of charge whatever for insurance.
Right. Okay.
People that are low risk are eventually going to drop out because it's not worth it. Kind of like the Harvard example. But like in real life, most insurances, the government's either funding a little bit of it, like a subsidy, or things like that keep the prices lower.
Okay.
So that not all the low risk types will drop. I mean, kind of like Medicare is today, like how it's very affordable. That way, pretty much everyone's insured because most people will qualify for it.
Okay.
So like the pooling is like, keeping the insurance rate at a certain level so that people will buy it, including low risk individuals.
Okay.
I think, but I'm not positive.
Okay. Well, that helps. Thank you. That was my question. I just didn't really understand that. So.
There's something I didn't understand. Let me see if I can find it in here.
No.
So I kind of had a hard time understanding just moral hazard. So is moral hazard when people like purposely like wait to do something or until after they have insurance?
Well, so it's like because I have insurance, I'm not going to be so fussed about going out and like doing something risky. So, or maybe I'm not going to be so fussed about using my healthcare coverage because I have insurance. So I can, like, it's more affordable for me. If I didn't have insurance, right, I'd be careful because if something happens to me, then I'm paying for it all by myself.
Okay.
So I called an insurance agent, one that's a family member, that's a close family member, because you know how we had two for our discussion board.
Yeah.
And I asked him about moral hazard, and the explanation, for him working in the insurance world, he said that, so he has a brother-in-law that has a shop, like a wood shop, that they do a bunch of lumber, like a lumber shop, and it started on fire. And so he said, we went and claimed, and he goes, for their insurance that they had, whatever, they insured square footage. And so square footage that they had of their shop was like, he could have taken like $900,000 was what his claim could have been. However, his actual damages that he was like $200 and something thousand. And so he said that had he really wanted to, he could have been like, okay, I was burning weeds or something out by it, and the whole thing, and I need to take the whole 900,000 for it. And he said that becomes like a moral hazard, because had he taken the whole 900,000, then the insurance rate for everybody around him goes up, and so then it causes some people not being able to afford the insurance. And that's how he explained a moral hazard that and he goes, so I don't know. For me, I don't know if that really makes any sense to you guys, or
no, they talked about that too in the textbook about how like your decisions impact everyone else too, and that's how the premiums go up.
Right.
So that's good. That's helpful, I think.
Okay.
So like, I mean, I work at a hospital, so I mean, at the end of the year they get really busy, especially in the surgery center. Because everyone's already reached their premiums.
Right.
And so they go get a surgery that costs a lot of money, but then the insurance has to cover it. It's kind of necessary, but at the same time, it's not really. They're just getting it because they can. So like,
right.
like a moral hazard then?
That's kind of moral hazard.
I think it would be.
Well, they talked about how, where was the example? They talked about how there are patients who will choose maybe, I think I just saw it. Sorry, I've got my book right here.
You're good.
So they were talking about a patient who she had a choice between either getting a knee replacement surgery or using medication. And
right.
like in the end, she chose the surgery because the cost was a little more reasonable, right? Maybe.
Or was it because it didn't matter because of her insurance? So she was able to get the surgery because she was covered. I remember reading that too. I'm trying to remember exactly how they explained that, but
Maybe
they were,
the cost, like it didn't. Yeah, the cost was the same for both. I can't remember. Dang it.
I think.
isn't that kind of at the beginning where they were in the reading where they were talking about the guys that went hang gliding or whatever it was that they were doing?
Yeah.
And one of them was able to get the surgery or the bone stuff that they were talking about to regenerate all of his bones that were broken. And the other one wasn't able to because of his insurance. Was that adverse selection or was that in the moral hazard?
That's in the moral hazard.
Yeah, that's
right.
On my quiz, did we just answer one? I had a question. Oh yeah, so for our quiz in question 5, it says, what's an example of moral hazard? And our answer is an insured patient who insists on name brand prescription drugs because he has coverage. So I think it's kind of like that, where you insist on the surgery because you have coverage to get the surgery. So
okay. So that makes sense. It's just people want sometimes better things even though they're not really necessary because they have coverage.
Yeah, I think it's convenient and the timing just works in their favor, I think.
Yeah, and then the other people have to pay for that, so they have to raise insurance premiums to pay for it.
Okay.
Okay.
Any other questions?
No, I think those actually that helped answer the questions that I was kind of having about moral hazard and.
Okay. Well, I'll put the link there again.
Okay.
And I guess that's it. Oh, should we schedule for next week?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, let me get my book here. Because we've just been doing Thursdays, right?
Yeah.
But we chose Tuesday because of the exam.
Right.
Yeah.
So do we want to just go back to Thursday next week or do it Tuesday again?
I would rather do later in the week. Just because when we have 2 chapters, it just makes it kind of hard for me. But
right.
I'd prefer Thursday.
Okay, that's fine with me.
Yeah, Thursday's fine with me too.
Okay.
Do you want to do it at 9 a.m. or do you want to do earlier?
9 a.m. is fine unless someone needs it earlier, and then I can do that. So I don't have a preference.
I don't have a preference either. So 9 a.m. is fine for me.
Okay.
Unless we need to go earlier, same thing.
Cool.
I think 9 a.m. is good.
Okay, let's plan on 9, and then if anyone has any anything come up, I guess just send us an email.
Okay. Sounds good. Okay, good luck on the exam.
You too.
I'm nervous. It'll be good.
My daughter's impressed with how small I can write.
All right.